today I want to rank comic wedding dresses, specifically superheroes' wedding dresses. Let's get into it with our first wedding dress of the day, which is Catwoman in her marriage to Batman. Now, this wedding didn't actually happen, but, you know, she wore the wedding dress, she almost walked down the aisle, so I feel I can still judge it. I don't know what the general consensus is on this dress, but it is a heated debate between me and my sister whether it is a good dress or not. I personally hate it. I really do. I think it has some good elements, but overall, it, one, to me just does not read as something Selena would wear, and two, I don't think any of the accessories work with it. So let's start with the dress itself. It is this white silk with black lace. It's more black lace than it is white silk. I do like the idea of the black lace, and I almost don't think it's necessary to add the white silk in. I know it's like a traditional wedding dress, but if you made these cutouts just cutouts and not filled in with silk like they are here, and then you can make this like a cream or maybe like a gray, I would almost like that more, because then at least you're going for something, whereas this feels like they were going for something alternative and then kind of wimped out on the skirt. I do love what's going on with the bodice. We have a sweetheart neckline with these two little bits of lace that come up, giving the illusion of a cat face. It's really fun and a cute way of incorporating the cat details without, well, giving her cat ears. Just, I want to talk. Whoever gave her cat ears, it is so ridiculous. You're telling me Selena Kyle wore sparkly cat ears to her wedding? Don't talk to me. Don't even look at me. I do like the little like small, I think it's a black veil. It's cute, and especially since she has shorter hair, I think a longer veil would have looked awkward. So the short veil feels sexy, it feels flirty, it feels fun. So her. The cat ear headband feels juvenile. I think overall my problem with the dress is really this skirt area. I just think it looks so awkward, and I like it from the back or when it's in movement, but when she's just standing around, I don't know, it's really not the vibe. Also, the cutouts on the back, my sister said she could see a cat face in them. I cannot. So I don't know why they're there. Overall, I am a bit mean to this dress, but I think with some better accessories, it could work. Like, for one, wear her gloves, where is a necklace? Just little details like that would have made it better in my opinion. I also think it is giving like Wayne family, but it's not giving Selena. The lace feels a bit too feminine, old-fashioned, traditional. So time to rank it. I think I'm gonna put the dress in C tier, and I might end up moving it up because that does feel a little mean. I just really feel like it could be better. I think maybe on a different character I would have put it higher. Time for our next wedding dress. I'm going to be trying to switch between DC and Marvel. Marvel representation, we got Emma Frost. And Emma is very similar to Selena in the fact that she cares a lot about fashion. So I will be harshly grading this one because the character knows so much about fashion. Like, I could see, like, Carol Danvers is here. Carol would just wear a white t-shirt. She doesn't give a shit. Emma gives a shit. She needs to be dressed to the nines. And honestly, I do respect this dress. It is maybe a bit much, but is that not Emma? Is she not a bit much? For one, let's talk about accessorizing, because that is something Selena was missing out on. Now, I love that Emma has turned only part of her leg to diamond to mimic like a tight situation. Also, it seems to line up with some sort of sparkle detail on her dress. No, this is comics, so obviously they're not wearing like real fabrics, but especially in this photo, the fabric at the bottom seems to have some crystally elements. I don't know if that's actually what's going on here, but I'm gonna assume it is, and I love it. Emma does not have a big necklace, which, again, another girl who I feel would have a big honking diamond right here, but she makes up for that by having this white collar situation. Now, I don't love it on its own, but I do love what it does for the neckline. Really, the only thing I'm not a fan of with this wedding dress is whatever is happening in this like bodice area. The neckline is gorge, the sleeves are gorge, but like she has these two cutouts, which is fine because it makes an X. That makes sense. But then what is this little diamond of fabric just sitting here? I just don't know how that works with the structure of the garment. Like, where is this triangle coming from? I think this would make more sense if you made this outer skirt start like here, and then you could see that this triangle was actually part of this bodice. But I also think you could just erase this triangle and leave this underskirt just being smooth all the way up. But you really don't need this like extra bit here. It's really my only problem with the dress. Why is it there? I do feel like I have to point out that Emma is such a fashion girly, and I love her for that. But because of that, this almost doesn't read as a wedding dress for her. I swear to God, Emma has worn so many white dresses with X cutouts on them. Like, you could tell me this was a dress from like a gala or a party she went to, and I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. That doesn't mean it's a bad wedding dress. It just means, unfortunately, Emma has raised the bar so high that any plain white dress is just gonna look like a dress she would wear any day. Some elements that maybe could have stopped that from happening, just because she is marrying Iron Man in this comic, adding in some elements of Iron Man could have been really fun. But if we had added some more structured elements that are maybe reminiscent of armor, or, I mean, I don't know what the deal with his arc reactor is currently, because I'm not seeing anything on his chest, but anything shape-wise reminiscent of that would be nice. And of course, he's wearing red to the wedding, so why couldn't Emma have a little red or a little yellow just sprinkled in? I know it's not her colors, but I think it would help this dress stand out and would make it read as something abnormal or special. So yeah, overall, I really enjoy this dress. I think I am gonna put it in A tier. It's like not the prettiest wedding dress, like I probably wouldn't wear it. But for a comic wedding dress, it is really good, and Emma looks fantastic. Time to talk about our next wedding dress. Now, this is a wedding dress from another wedding ceremony that did not actually happen, and that is Kitty Pryde and Colossus. Now, this dress was interesting because in the comic itself, she wears this cute little lacy number with sweetheart neckline and these off-the-shoulder sleeves, a long thick veil, and she has this cute little fluffy bob. And then this is the cover, and a lot of other official art of like her wedding shows her in this dress from the cover, which is distinctly not the same dress. She's got none of the sleeves. There is a lace, but it doesn't seem to be as big and, I don't know, girly. Now, her dress did have a bit of a mermaid or trumpet situation happening, but this cover dress is way more exaggerated. The cover dress also has a really thin veil, which I despise so much. That's awful. One thing I do love about the cover dress is that she has her hair in this purple pin, which is actually her dragon pet friend. Oh my god, what is his name? Lockheed. It's Lockheed in her hair. I really love that, and I kind of wish it could have been an element in this dress. But overall, I do prefer the actual dress that she actually wears over this dress. And I am very upset that Marvel keeps doing advertising with her in this dress when this dress is just not as good. It also, I feel, doesn't suit her personality as well, but I'm not a huge Kitty Pryde fan, so maybe someone else will disagree. This dress feels a lot more casual, but not in a bad way. It's looser. I feel like she could actually walk in it, unlike this dress, which is so tight. I love her having her hair down in these cute little curls. The veil on this dress is also so long and thick and gorgeous. I really, really love it. I do think it is quite, not transparent. Normally you would want like a more sheer wedding veil, so I don't really understand why it is just white fabric, but I don't fully mind. Overall, her wedding dress just feels classic, simple, feminine, but not like super feminine. It is probably one of the only comic book wedding dresses I would actually consider wearing. Overall, really a shame that this wedding did not go as planned, because oh my gosh, this was such a cute dress. I also included this image because I love how the fabric looks when she's using her powers. Oh my gosh. I am really considering giving this one an S, but I don't know. It's just so simple. I would feel a bit bad. Here's what's keeping it an A tier for me. Really, just I'm not seeing anything specific to Kitty as a character. I do think adding in the purple dragon clip would have probably made this dress an S tier for me. Also, this is another wedding dress with no gloves. Where are all the gloves going? Time for our next wedding dress, and this one is Mary Jane in her marriage to Spider-Man. I love Mary Jane's dress. It is iconic, and it is iconic for a reason. It is definitely of its time, but it is very cute. I love when the veil is like big and floofy like this. I don't really love here where it looks like it just sits on her head. But I'm gonna choose to ignore that. This dress is very iconic, so I'm having a hard time separating its iconicness from how cute it actually is as a dress. I guess I can give her points for actually wearing gloves. Thank God. I do think the gloves look weird, which I think is just how the artist ended up drawing them. The fact that you can like see her skin and there doesn't appear to be a lace detail over it, weird. Especially in this panel, like the bodice looks so bizarre. I am assuming it's one piece here, but this makes it look like she's wearing like spaghetti straps that have lace on them. Also, why is her bouquet only one flower? That's really sad. I really don't have anything horribly negative to say about her dress. It has definitely aged. I don't think you would see someone today wear the dress, but for the time, I'm sure it was very stylish, very on trend. I will say, like, for Mary Jane, I kind of wish it was a bit more boyish, but I think that might be a more modern element of her personality. I think the only part that really I'm like, oh god, what is this this whole bottom situation? Like, why does the lace look like that when it overlaps? And it's just so huge and out there. I think really all it would take to modernize this dress is just to add a slit and make it go all the way down without this giant mermaid tail. But you know what? I'm really struggling to find anything negative to say about this dress, so I think that makes it an S tier dress. Oh gosh, Photoshop, you hate me. Our next wedding dress comes from the marriage of Black Canary and Green Arrow. Important to note here, this is their marriage of their superhero personas. So this is not Dinah and Oliver getting married. It is the superheroes, Black Canary and Green Arrow, getting married. So that is why he is wearing his superhero suit. And that's also why, regrettably, her wedding dress is just her superhero suit in white. But let's talk about it. Okay, let's break it down. I do think this dress, most people freak out when seeing it, mainly because it's not a dress, just objectively. I did grow up with this dress, so I have some love for it in my heart. For one, gloves. Amazing, iconic, I love it. I love that she has bows on the back of her boots. It is so cute. Even though, like, in images like this, it can look a bit weird because you can't figure out where exactly the ribbon is coming from. But seeing it from the back with the bows, I adore it. I like the idea of the dress itself. Adding this jewel and adding this big bustle skirt situation. The concept is there. The concept is there. I just don't know if I love it for a wedding. Knowing Dinah and Oliver, I do 100% think this is something they would think up. But I also think that Barbara would have stepped in at some point and told her, no, you cannot wear a unitard to your wedding, you need to at least cover your ass, girl, because what is this? I also am not a big fan of the veil and the hair situation. For one, the earrings look casual to me, and the veil itself is so just not it. It's not the vibe. It looks fine when it's in action like this, but the flowers do not suit Dinah. They're also white flowers when she's holding red roses, so you could have just done them as like little red roses, at least had them match the bouquet. It also is just sitting at a really awkward place on her head. If she's gonna have a ponytail situation, I would almost want it going like this way. Instead of leaning forward, I would want it leaning back. I mean, I do just think I have to take off points for the fact that this is not a wedding dress. And also, Oliver didn't even try. Like, at least she wore white, dude. I'm sorry, we can't get over the fact that this is a leather unitard that she's wearing with what I'm assuming are leather gloves and leather boots. I really love it, but it is possibly doing too much. So even though I am a fan and I think it's actually pretty fun, I do think I'm going to have to put it in E tier. Time to talk about her second wedding dress. Now this, I believe, is from the Injustice comic books. This dress does kind of feel like a weird ripoff of Emma's dress, because we have the same, like, weird choker situation happening with the sweetheart neckline, but I don't think it does it as well as Emma. It feels the need to put this lace here, which is fine, but like with the collar is too much, especially since the rest of the dress is just so simple. I do like the off-the-shoulder look, but what is happening in this back panel? Like, maybe it's just the way her arms are put, but it looks like the sleeves don't line up with the back, which is awful, and they absolutely need to. Like, what is happening? Based on this image, it looks like how the dress is designed, the sleeves are not connected to the back at all. They're just connected to the front. Thank you for accessorizing, Dinah, but no, why are you just wearing like 3 bracelets on only one arm? What? I do love this little white gem because she also has the same gem in this one, so maybe a reference there. I like the flowers in her hair in this dress, and I like that she's not wearing a veil. Dinah is very sporty, so I do not see her wearing a veil. I feel like she would hate it. And then the dress itself is just very blah. It does feel like when you order Emma Frost dress on like Temu or something, I think a slit maybe could have spiced it up, made it feel very Dinah. Yeah, actually, I think this dress would fit her so well if you took away the weird collar, just gave her a simple necklace with this little white diamond, and added a slit. I think that would have saved this dress. I do hate this lace. I don't know what it is, but it's god awful. So maybe remove the lace. But then we're changing a lot. Overall, a very boring dress, which I don't think suits the character who's wearing it at all. She's very much not a boring person. I do love Barbara's dress though. That does feel like something Barbara would wear. Overall, I am gonna be ranking... Oh, wait. Okay, so I have a hard decision here. Do I rank the boring, safe dress higher than the dress that, like, went for it and tried something? I don't think I am. I think I'm gonna put this boring dress... I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna put the boring dress in F, and I'm gonna move this dress up to C. On to our next marriage. I don't think this is the first ever comic book marriage. I think that would be Aquaman. But this is a very iconic marriage. It's Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. Or I believe at this time she was the Invisible Girl. Now this dress is very, very of the era, as the Fantastic Four have always been very, very, like, from the past. Even now, when they try and modernize them, it doesn't feel right. These guys belong in, like, the 50s, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The dress is, kind of a lot, and I'm having a hard time making opinions on it because I also cannot see what's going on that well. It is a full coverage dress. I think it has this like square neckline, but then still has white here, so you like cannot see anything. If I had to guess, it ends some point like in her neck. And then what's really bizarre to me is that her sleeves are connected to her gloves. I thought maybe she had like white gloves over white sleeves. Nope, it's one piece, which is possibly a hate crime. I'm not entirely sure. I do love the little pillbox hat. At least I think that's what this is supposed to be. It looks soft. And of course I do have to address this situation. The short skirt on top of the tighter underskirt. Very, very of its time. I don't like it. I think sometimes it can look good. I think in this scenario, it does not look good, and it in fact only adds to the chaos. Overall, what do I give them? Because it is iconic. It is. I just think it's possibly awful. Because I think it suits Sue as a character, and I do have to acknowledge, like, it is a very old wedding dress. It is not going to fit my modern sensibilities. I am gonna give it B. I just want it to be known. Not a fan. Not a huge fan. I think Sue deserves a better wedding dress. I'm so sorry. The sleeves being attached to the gloves is... I can't. Time for our next wedding. This is my favorite wedding to have ever happened, but that does not mean anything about the dress, okay? I absolutely adore Lois's wedding dress. It is not a modern wedding dress, and yet still stylish, still serving. I think this wedding dress is almost 30 years old now, and you know, I think I could see a modern girl wearing it. My sister is actually so in love with it. She was genuinely like, I'd wear that to my wedding. Don't know if I'm there, but I do think it's a really pretty wedding dress. I love what's going on with this top. We've got very Regency looking vibes with an empire waist and then this long flowy skirt. I like the lace on the top, and then having no lace at the bottom is totally fine. Like, that's all the lace you needed. The flowers at the bottom are really cute. I think maybe they're a bit much, but I do think they work well to tie in like the lace on the top, having that represented elsewhere instead of it just like looking a bit out of place. I am slightly confused by these flowers on her arm, seeing as though they look like they're green in this panel, but here in the close-up they're white. If they are white and they're like the same as these flowers down here, totally cool with that. I love them. If they're green, I'm a little lost. We're not going to talk about the red hair. I am not a fan of redhead Lois, but we'll live. I do have to talk about this image because I think it shows off the back, and holy shit, I love the no back look, or at least the very, very low back look. Now this panel does have a back, but we're gonna ignore that because I like this. This is fun and cute and I love. And let's talk about the veil actually, because holy shit, this is such a great veil. I think this is some of those girls whose veils were really struggling. This is what they needed. It's cute, it has a good shape to it. It is see-through, which isn't really apparent here, but it is sheer. That's good. I'm maybe not a huge fan of the little white bow, just because I kind of wish it was a flower or a couple flowers. And I love her bouquet. Have that many girls even had a bouquet? I don't know. Her bouquet is great. I love the red rose matches the one on his lapel. That's so cute. Overall, I adore this dress. One problem, I'm not entirely sure Lois Lane would wear this dress. Maybe it's just me, but I feel Lois would look at any dress that had flower details on it and be like, oh, ew, no, moving on. Yes, Lois is marrying farm boy Clark Kent, but she is military brat Lois Lane. I just really don't see her wearing something this, like, flowery and feminine. So overall, a very cute dress that would have gotten S tier, but unfortunately, I think just because it's not something Lois would wear, I think I'm gonna put B tier. but I might be tempted to move it just because I do think it is possibly one of the most gorgeous dresses on this list. Okay, moving on, we've got more Lois and Clark, because even though this wedding dress was to die for, apparently the comic artist decided it was not. So these dresses here are a couple examples of the dresses that Lois like dreamed up for her marriage to Clark, or I guess Superman for most of these. And then this is her most recent wedding dress, which I think they have retconned to being the wedding dress she wore. So I guess let's start by talking about these imagined dresses. I'll really quickly go over them. I adore this one. It is simple, but it is so beautiful. And even though it has like the cute like puffy skirt, so you would maybe be like, oh, is it too femme, too cutesy for Lois? I absolutely do not think it is. I think she would wear this. Down here we have this dress, which is so simple. Does not even fully read as a wedding dress, just reads as a white dress with like a random pearl belt. And then literally if you took the veil away, it would not read as wedding dress, but also that is very Lois. And then finally we have this one, which I don't hate, I just think it's kind of boring. So yeah, now that I've taken a look at these imaginary wedding dresses, which I think both of these are gorgeous, this one's just boring. Let's talk about her real, I think current wedding dress, but I may be wrong on that. I think what's going on here is they wanted to do a reimagining of her original wedding dress, and that is totally fine. I wish some of these other characters got modern reimaginings of their wedding dress. For example, Sue. I just hate this dress. I possibly think it is so ugly and also does not suit her at all. Like, not something Lois would have picked out. For one, let's talk about this bottom. Oh dear lord. It is so heavy looking and fluffy. Like, I'm sure if she stood, it would really have a shape to it. And it just has these random embroidered details on it. These shoes, dear lord, what are they? They are covered in ruffles. They look ridiculous. And then let's talk about this top, which just sort of looks like it exists, like totally disconnected from the bottom. The bottom is very traditional, and then the top is like modern and sleek, which is what? How do they even connect? What's going on here? It's giving Kate Middleton, which I think is the inspiration. I think they were going for Kate Middleton, but Lois Lane is not Kate Middleton. It's awful. And let's briefly talk about this veil. Do you remember how much I love this veil? This veil is so great. It's such great shape to it. It really complements the dress so well. It's great length. This veil's god-awful. This veil looks like you just grabbed some fabric and like stuck it in there randomly. It looks cheap. I do kind of like this tiara situation. I can't really see it very well. I do think Lois would wear something like that as opposed to a bow. So that's like one thing it has over her other wedding dress. This dress is like 3 different dresses. You have the veil with this like naturey headdress. Then you have this like modern, kind of sexy like lace top. And then you have this bottom bit that looks like it's from a wedding dress from like the 80s or something. These are 3 different dresses combined into one. It does not look like anything Lois Lane would wear, and for that reason, Lois Lane's second dress is going to be getting an F. Honestly, it's making me feel bad for putting the Dinah dress so low. I'm gonna bump that up to an E. Maybe I'll put it like in between E and D, because at least that dress is competent as a dress. So with all that being said, this is my final tier ranking for superhero wedding dresses. Not the weddings, not the characters, just the dresses. I am gonna move Catwoman down a little, if only because I have a personal vendetta against that dress. But yeah, other than that, this is exactly my opinions on all of their dresses. Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on comic book wedding dresses. What is your favorite wedding dress? And are there any wedding dresses I didn't cover in this video? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.